Aloha, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to another week of Trauma Recovery University. I am your host, Athena Moberg, and with me in the green room is your incredible co-host and my esteemed colleague, Bobby Parrish. We are so excited that you guys have chosen to spend an hour with us tonight here on Trauma Recovery University. Head on over to Twitter, use the hashtag #NoMoreShame, and join the conversation. Tonight's topic is financial abuse. What is financial abuse? Is it something where someone tries to charge you money? Do they steal from you? Is it something that goes on during your abuse, during childhood, or in your adult years? Financial abuse is something that a lot of us on this community, if you're on this channel, you're an adult survivor of probably child abuse, more specifically childhood sexual abuse. And if you're familiar with the power wheel, financial abuse is one of the fingers on the power wheel. So financial abuse is actually something that's way, way, way more common than anybody really knows, and we don't talk about it very often. There weren't a lot of videos and a lot of articles for me to research when I was researching this week's topic, and we do have a very comprehensive one page for you as always, and of course, it's complimentary, just as a thank you for being one of our loyal listeners, viewers, subscribers, or just an awesome survivor. And you can get access to that by going to traumarecoveryuniversity.com and clicking on the tab that says downloadables, or you can go to nomoreshameproject.com and click on downloadables. You'll be given immediate access to not only tonight's resource titled Financial Abuse and How We Can Protect Ourselves, but our entire library of downloadable PDF resources. And it is my pleasure, Athena Moberg, and Bobby Parrish's pleasure. It's our pleasure to be here with you. We're honored, we're grateful, we're excited to bring you this important topic, and we always love to, this is the highlight of our week. We love to spend time with you guys. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I'm going to turn this over to Bobby Parrish, and she's gonna bring us up to date on some, on our 2-hour Predator special, which is next week. And we're going to issue a trigger warning. We're going to get you in contact with Rain and the Samaritans and all that good stuff. And just a reminder, you guys, this is interactive. Go over to Twitter, use the hashtag #NoMoreShame, and send us your questions. This is our live Q&A, which we do every single week on Mondays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Take it away, Bobby. I guess if there was a blooper reel, this would be on the blooper reel because I said, take it away, Bobby, and she wasn't there. Bobby, are you there now? Are you there?
I'm here now.
Yay!
I am so sorry. Such awful audio problems I have had, y'all. We want to make sure that you have a trigger warning for tonight's episode. Athena, did you get a chance to give that?
I said I was handing it over to you to do our trigger warning. And I just did our normal, this is what I'm talking about. I'm going to hand it over to Bobby, and she's going to tell you all of this other stuff. And I'm like, take it away, Bobby. And I'm like, oh, if there's a blooper reel, then this would be on our blooper reel. So
yeah. And I just want to make sure that everyone who is watching us in order notices the lovely continuing to grow Christmas saga behind Athena. She has graciously been accommodating us every week by showing more and more and more and more Christmas ornaments and such, and decorations and stockings and angels. So you will be able to tell which episode you're watching if you're watching a December 2015 episode by the amount of Christmas decorations that are behind Athena. And it looks like I'm don't celebrate Christmas at all here in my little corner of my desk. So she definitely gets the Oscar this year for set decoration.
I wasn't going for an Oscar, you guys. I just don't want you to see. Okay, actually, this is where the truth comes out, guys. This is going to be one of those episodes. I have a pile of Christmas cards that I can't wait to show you guys here. But this is what I didn't want you guys to see. This is why I'm in my corner. Ready? Look at the mess. Oh, there's laundry. Oh, look. Oh, there's a pile. Oh, there's Christmas decorations. Oh, what's that over there? Oh my gosh, it's a table full of crap. Oh my goodness. I mean, seriously, this is the pretty area of the home. This little 3 foot by 3 foot corner is perfect. Okay, so that's just full disclosure, just so you guys know, like that's, and are the curtains open? No, like the curtains are all drawn. I have a beautiful, it's crazy windy out today, y'all, but like, okay, yeah, so I got lots of junk going on. Oh, there's a sweater somewhere, like a pillow is on top of a blanket. There's napkins, stuff. Yeah, okay. So, okay, I feel better now. I feel like I've been completely transparent with you guys now, so you completely know the truth. Okay. Carry on.
Let's go ahead and issue our trigger warning. This is a video and audio broadcast, a podcast, or even a show on Roku that talks about childhood abuse and specifically childhood sexual abuse. And so we want to make sure that you practice excellent self-care while you're watching or listening to this episode. If during the episode you are triggered, just feel free to turn it off and walk away. It'll still be there later. Even if you're watching us live, the episode will be up on YouTube in a matter of hours. So please just go ahead and turn it off. We want this to be an experience where you learn and you get some additional information that will help you in your recovery. We don't want it to be something that triggers you and helps you to spin off into a horrible circle, especially during the holiday season. If you are triggered or you need help immediately, you can reach out in the U.S. to our friends at RAINN. That's the Rape, Abuse, Incest National Network, RAINN. And they can be reached at 1-800-656-HOPE, HOPE. Or their website, they have a crisis chat feature, and that's available 24/7. Sometimes you have to wait a little bit in line, but they're wonderful. And that is on their website at rainn.org. If you're in the UK, you can reach out to the Samaritans at samaritans.org. If you are a sexual abuse survivor, you can specifically reach out by email to joe@samaritans.org. If anybody has any other crisis numbers in their country that they want to forward on to us, we would be love to provide those to our survivors around the world. We have listeners and watchers in 55 countries now, so we would love to be able to provide direct contact with crisis resources in your country. Next Monday is our special 2-hour Predators show. We're starting 1 hour early. So that will be 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I'm translating time zones in my head here. And 1 a.m. in the morning in the UK. We're going to spend 2 hours talking about predators, meaning people that will use you to satisfy their own needs. It can be as clinical as a narcissist or sociopath, and it can be as simple as someone who is arrogant and self-absorbed and thinks that the only thing that they ever want in life is to suck the energy and resources out of you to have for themselves. So we're going to talk about how to identify predators, how to get them out of your life, and then how to not be vulnerable to them ever again.
I already have people tweeting in comments on this particular topic, Bobby.
Cool.
So Grace says that her main abuser paid for all of her dance lessons, etc. And then her ex, also an abuser, got her in major debt. I can identify with both of those scenarios. I mean, not dance, but still, it was my music lessons.
Right.
They paid for my clarinet so that I could be in orchestra. So totally get it. Completely get it, Grace. You're not alone. You are not alone.
No. So let's see. that coming up. Again, one more time. Last week we announced that if you are a male survivor and you would like to belong to a secret private Facebook support group for men only, send us an email, nomoreshameproject@gmail.com, and we are going to be starting one up in January. So if you're interested, please let us know. We have enough men now that are interested to put something together, and we would very much like to include you in that. So send us an email, let us know. And other than that, I think the only thing left is Ms. Athena's wonderful stack of mail that she has over there to share with y'all.
Oh my goodness, I wanted to show you guys. I'm just sending a tweet really super quick. We have some survivors in our community that are meeting up in real life right now, and they're all tuning in live. So I just wanted to say a really quick aloha to Jack and Simi and Grace, and I sent them group hugs, and Grace says she feels loved. That's what happens when we get to meet up with people in real life. We actually get to experience this awesome love, this feeling of being loved, but in real life. I feel the same way whenever I get to see Bobby in person, whether I'm staying there at her house with her son, or staying in a hotel or somewhere locally or whatever. I just feel filled up. I feel loved. I feel
understood.
Yeah, understood and cared about. And you know what? The coolest thing, like, I just got to invite Bobby over to my hotel room, and we just sat there and drank soda and coffee and went out to eat together and did all of our planning session. And we just got to do what we normally do on Skype, but in person. So it's not like it's anything super special out of the ordinary, like we went on vacation together or anything. It was just that for some reason, when you breathe the same air as another person that really understands you, something really special and magical happens. A lot of people don't know what that feels like because they just have been isolated their whole entire lives. A lot of abuse survivors right, Bobby? I mean, a lot of our clients, our colleagues, a lot of them are living their lives. They're still in a very isolated situation where you're not surrounded by other people that understand you. So I just want to show you guys this growing stack of mail and cards that we've gotten from you guys. And I have part of my panoramic nonsense that I showed you of my house is that I'm still trying to, I bought international stamps and I bought regular stamps, and I have my cards, and my cards got lost in the mail, and they were Christmassy theme, and they were awesome. They were the color of that stocking right there. And then they're still lost. They're on a ship somewhere. So I had to reorder cards, and they have gold glittery, kind of like the little tinsel right here. And so I made them more of a New Year's theme, so that when you guys finally get the cards, even though they're late, they're kind of New Year's-y and not Christmassy, because they're going to be after Christmas when you get them, just so you know. So, but Bobby and I are going to make a video. We're going to open some of your cards, different video, not this video, but I just wanted to show you and say hi and thank you, and we love you, and we feel totally like this is just surreal and awesome. This all started with a Twitter chat, and here we are. And so we are humbled and we're grateful for each and every one of you, and you're the reason we show up every single week. And I know I say that every single week, but I just want to remind you that you're dearly, dearly loved. And if you are triggered, or you're in crisis, or you're feeling alone, especially because it's the holiday time, yes, we're a big, ridiculous family, but you can come be ridiculous with us. You're welcome, as long as you're not a predator. So we love you. And there's some artwork on the back of one of the cards that Jack and Simi sent. Oops, they're all falling. So yeah, we'll be making a different video for that, but just wanted to let you guys know that we're getting your cards. So send us more of your questions, and I'll turn this over to Bobby. We can go into our one-page content if you like, Bobby, or if we have any other announcements or anything that you'd like to talk about.
No, let's go ahead and start talking about financial abuse. Like Athena said in her intro, it's something that we usually don't talk about. It is, as Athena calls them, a flavor of abuse that doesn't usually get a lot of discussion, especially for childhood survivors of abuse, because the assumption is that money was not used as a part of our abuse because we were children. Financial abuse is often discussed as a component of domestic violence relationships, and it is very prevalent in domestic violence relationships because money is power. Money is opportunity. Money is choice. Money is options. And when you don't have any money, you don't have a lot of choices and options. So, but it was interesting. This morning we had our first Twitter chat of the week. For those of you who don't know, we have three Twitter chats a week. One of them is on Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And that one is for primarily our UK crowd. And that is at 6 p.m. in the evening, their time on Monday. And then there's this one that you're watching right now. And then there's another one on Tuesday evenings at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And so we were talking this morning about financial abuse, and it was remarkable how many people talked about financial abuse being a part of their childhood abuse. And even more so that financial abuse continued for years after their sexual abuse stopped. And I think that's the piece that I want everyone really to understand, is that financial abuse is a means for our abuser and their enablers. Okay, so maybe it's not the abuser who's still controlling money or using money. Maybe it's their enablers, but they're using it to control, silence, and isolate you. Okay.
Yeah, Simi says it can be used as a reward for being good. Definitely.
Exactly. Yes.
Definitely.
That element of control, and money is one of those things. It's like food. You can't not have money. It's like when you're trying to work on a healthy relationship with food. Well, it's not like you just can't have food. You'll die. And you can't not have money either. That's the way the world works, unless you want to go live off the grid. And, how many of us have the opportunity to do that? Not many. So we have to have money in our lives. And when it has been a source of abuse, then it gets tangled up in shame. And when you're an adult and money is shame, and you have not had a healthy relationship with money, you have never had an education about financial literacy. I love that word.
Oh, was that Dusana that said that? Or no, that was the new gal, Elizabeth.
Yes, Elizabeth used that this morning.
Oh, no, wait. Oh. It was Dusana. It was Dusana because she's a teacher. I'm pretty sure it was Dusana.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes, the term financial literacy. And I love that. And we all need to teach our children financial literacy. They need to know, how do you manage money? How do you have a healthy relationship with money? How do you use an ATM card? In my day, you taught your kids how to use a checkbook, but
yeah,
who writes checks anymore?
And then I remember, and I know this sounds odd, but I'm commenting on a tweet, Bobby, on a topic that you just mentioned, and that's the whole checkbook thing. Sarah says she was surprised at how much stuff came up with this particular topic. Yeah. And I wanted to say me too, Sarah, because there's a part on our one page that brought up a whole bunch of stuff for me, like not new memories necessarily, but a new way of looking at something that I never gave myself any validation for. I never addressed that before. And Bobby, what you said, you want to know what I learned from my family about learning how to use checkbook?
Huh.
I learned that if there were still checks in the checkbook, there was still money.
Yeah.
That is what I was told. And I am not joking. I literally came home with homework in 6th grade, and it was on the topic of learning how to write a checkbook or something. It was just like it was during social studies, and one of the social studies assignments was talking about learning how to use a checkbook or something. I have no idea why that's social, but I guess whatever.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, Mr. Noonan, I remember it, Mr. Noonan at West Orange Elementary. So anyway, I was told, well, if there's checks in the checkbook, there's money. That's all you need to know. And of course, it was like a tongue-in-cheek sort of way to say it. But I got that pit in my stomach, that can't be right. Doesn't the check go to the bank? And there has to be another different deal, right?
Right.
But I didn't have it all figured out. But isn't that interesting that that's what I remember being taught?
Yeah. And I was taught that money was power.
Ooh.
We didn't have a lot of money when I was growing up. Okay, we had hardly any money. Um, but some people in our family did, aunts and uncles, grandparents, and they would dole it out to those of us who were lucky enough to be gifted with some of this money. And I can remember discussions with my parents and who they owed money to in the family. And it was such a power play, such a power play. And so there was no healthy role model with money for me. And then there's, of course, it's attached to shame because we didn't have any. Therefore, we didn't have any power. And because we didn't have any money, that was shameful.
Ooh.
And so, you grow up with money used to reward or punish you. And then it's attached to shame and it's attached to power. And so what do you grow up? You grow up believing that you're powerless, full of shame, and unless you have a lot of money, you're worth nothing.
Yes. And,
I
mean, Bobby, everything you're saying right now is bringing up so much stuff for me, and everybody's tweeting in saying it's bringing up stuff for them. Jack wants to know if abusers, can they foster financial ignorance intentionally? Like,
yeah,
on the topic of right now. And that's exactly what's going on, you guys. I mean, seriously, I was told that I needed to go out and get a job, and I went out and learned how to rake and muck horse corrals to the point where I didn't have any clean water. I was told to drink out of the garden hose, and then the money I would bring home, I was told to put it in the closet in one of the shoes to keep it safe so no one would take it, but it ended up getting taken. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I mean, so much stuff's coming up. So much stuff's coming up regarding money. And then my mom had a really, really, really bad drug habit, which, she kicked her drug habit, and that was awesome. That was really, really awesome. That was really great. But it was not without that collateral damage that came along with the drug habit. Like the drugs, there was a few $100 a day habit that she had with cocaine. And then not on top of that, it was the marijuana. And on top of that, there was always the alcohol. And it was just all that kind of stuff costs a lot of money, you guys. And so there's a piece on our one page that was, Bobby, we got to bring up this one page right now.
Okay.
We got to bring it up because almost the first thing that we have on our one page when I was just doing the formatting, oh my gosh, light bulbs. And I never have ever given myself permission to sort of feel the feels on some of these things. And it feels so healing and freeing to just discuss this out loud. Seriously.
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons why sometimes you'll look at the topics that we pick and you'll think, well, why are they covering that? What's that got to do with child abuse? But then when you unpack it and look at it and take it apart, you'll see how much it has to do with child abuse and how much it has to do with our relationships with whatever we're talking about in adulthood. Child abuse plays a number on our brains and our bodies, but it can color every aspect of your life. And you might be sitting out there thinking, well, I'm an idiot. I can't manage money. What's the matter with me? What a fool am I? That stuff goes way back. And you may not be responsible for what you didn't learn and for the horrible things that you did learn, but we're going to help you learn the healthy things now. And so you have a life that you love to live. And that's why sometimes we talk about things that at first don't seem to be very applicable.
Oh my gosh, Bobby. Sarah just tweeted in. I don't understand what Jack's talking about. I think it must be domestic violence chat. But Sarah tweeted in, she was bullied. Oh, I'm not talking to you, Siri. Stop it. Oh my gosh. She heard me say the word Sarah and she's trying to call somebody named Sarah on my phone. Sarah tweeted in, wow, I was bullied in school for not wearing name brands.
Yeah.
Me too. That's a big one. Big one.
You guys can't see me because I have up the one page, but when I was a little girl, we didn't have money for boots, to wear in the winter. And my mother used to put bread bags, over my shoes, and then you'd put them up around your calf, and then you'd use a rubber band to keep them up.
Oh my goodness, Bobby, I'm so
And,
sorry.
here was everybody else in their fancy, and I'm sitting there with Snyder's bread bags.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, Bobby. Oh my gosh, that's real. That is so real. And like, I mean, when other kids have normal clothes and your clothes are from the secondhand store, or they're from like way a long time ago when your parents were little, and like I had some clothes that were made out of like weird wool, scratchy, weird material rather than like normal material, because they were old. That's older material, or from back east where it was cold and I was living in California. Like, I can't tell you how often I was sweating, and that was before I knew what deodorant was. And I mean, just because I was wearing wool clothes in California, like, who does that?
Right.
I did. So, Sarah, I feel your pain, honey. It's Bobby and I are both right there with you for sure. Grace says her mom was ignorant. That came from her dad. She struggled too. Oh my goodness. There's just so much, you guys. So much. This is such a heavy topic. Melissa says, when I don't make money, I feel a lot of shame because it triggers me to feel not good enough, like I always used to feel. Oh my goodness.
It does. It does. So much of our upbringing for many of us centered around the fact that money was worth. And if you didn't have money, then you weren't worth anything.
Yep.
And it's interesting because that is exactly the dynamic that our abuser wanted us to learn. Because more often than not, we were the child, right? So they had the power, they had the money. And they were the ones who had all the power, they were the ones that had all the worth. And we had none. And as long as we remained dependent upon them for money, that was a clear power dynamic shift that also involved that component of worth. And we'll talk a little bit more here in terms of examples of financial abuse for you to see that many abusers and their enablers use this dynamic well into our adulthood.
Yeah.
Okay, so financial abuse. Here's the one page. And again, to reiterate what Athena said earlier, if you go over to our website at nomoreshameproject.com, you can click on the tab that says downloadables, and you will see all of the one pages there. This is going to be the one on the very bottom because the oldest are first, most recent are on the bottom. Go all the way down to the bottom, click on that. You can print it off, put it in a binder, put it in a notebook. Our concept behind developing these for you was to give you a one-page quick summary of a topic so that you have the top half is education, its definitions, its explanations, and the bottom half is how do you fix it and take care of it and start making it better today. If you don't know us, Athena and I are both survivors. We have both gone through, between the two of us, we've had more than 50 years in recovery and more than 25 years helping other survivors make their way through recovery journeys. And so we wanted to give you actionable strategies today, not hope that it might get better sometime.
Yeah.
So that's what you'll find. Go ahead.
Just a quick comment. Grace was mentioning she this is entering in on a little bit deeper level of the financial abuse, you guys. So some of our community, myself included, are also sexual exploitation survivors. That's when we were either sold or lent out for goods and services or money as a part of our abuse as children. We were either used as workers or laborers, or there was a you do this and there's a financial gain from the abuse. And modern day now in 2015, that's actually called trafficking. So there's a trafficking or an exploitation element for some of the members of our community, myself included. And it is very real for us to feel used, exploited. There's a lot of shame attached to being used and lent out. I'm just going to talk about this very, very briefly and turn it back over to Bobby. And we're here on our one page talking about examples of financial abuse. One of the examples that I'm talking about regarding exploitation, what does that even look like? You're like, she's not from another country being taken, shipped in on a container and then sent out into the fields with a pointy hat on. Like, what's she talking about? But trafficking and exploitation take on a lot of different shapes and sizes, you guys. So one of the things was when my mom would stay gone and she wouldn't come home from work until late, and because she worked really far away, and she did her best to come home as late as she could, because she was in the middle of, that was when she was still addicted to drugs and alcohol. So before she would get home, one of my stepdads would invite friends over, and he would bring his daughter, and they would make us bathe together, and they would watch us, and they would tell us what to do to each other. And my stepdad would get free beer. He would get free beer, free cigarettes, and free entertainment, because he was watching two young girls do things to each other in the bathtub. So that's exploitation. That's trafficking, in case you're wondering. And we received an email from someone recently that was asking, so when my mother was lending me out to different men so that I would know what to do when I got married someday, are you saying that was trafficking, Athena? Are you saying that wasn't just my mom trying to help me? And I'm sorry, but no, that's not helping. That's sexual exploitation, and that is trafficking if there was money exchanged. So I don't know if there was a money exchange in your situation, but for me personally, there was definitely free food, free beer, free cigarettes, whatever. There was money that changed hands because he paid less for his entertainment, type of a thing. And then of course there's the whole other level of exploitation that we often talk about in other episodes. So anyway, I just wanted to validate people's feelings that are tweeting in that they're feeling very used, and there's a lot of shame attached to that, because it is very shameful, you guys, to know that we meant so little to someone that they would lend us out and they would use us to get money, so that like I'm a mother. I can't fathom lending my child to someone and them abusing my child or doing anything to my child, letting him out of my sight, first of all, and then receiving money for that. Like, I just can't fathom that. Like, that doesn't make any sense cognitively in my brain. It just is like, does not compute. And many of you are going, is she for real? Yes, I'm for real. Bobby, your comments on any of that?
I think a lot of things that are the nitty-gritty details of child abuse, people who have not gone through those situations can scarcely believe that it happened, because it is so baffling, especially if you yourself are a parent. We can't begin to understand. Like you said, I have a son. I can't begin to understand doing that to my son. But the reality is that there are many, 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 many more parents than any of us want to admit that do that to their children. And yes, they'll exploit them. And even more so, every single one of us who are here, who are listening, we were somehow exploited for our abuser and our enablers' benefits when we were children, whether that was sexual, whether that was financial, whether that was verbal, emotional. A parent who verbally berates you is using you for their benefit too, because they're exploding their emotions all over you rather than being a mature adult and learning how to control and cope with their feelings.
Which is a sweet release for them, because they're letting it all out. Just like when you get to meet up with a good friend and you get to vent a little bit, like it kind of you feel better. Just like when we have these talks here, we talk about it and we feel better. But when you do that at the expense of someone else's sanity, at the expense of their childhood, at the expense of their feeling safe, at the expense of their mental capacity to deal with life, that's exploiting that person. That's using them. That's abuse. That's exploitative. You're exploiting their mental health. You're exploiting them in ways that they can never, ever, ever recoup.
Nope. And that's why we're here. We're learning how to take our lives and our power and our joy back after someone else stole them from us. when we were children and sometimes way into adulthood. So let's talk specifically about financial abuse. And you'll see at the very top of the one page, abuse comes in many shapes and forms. Okay, and sometimes abuse is neglect. So abuse is not always giving or yelling or screaming or touching or controlling money. Sometimes abuse is a complete absence of something. So neglect falls into the category of abuse as well. One that we seldom speak about, but which many survivors are subjected to, is financial abuse. And again, financial abuse is about using money to control, silence, and punish a victim. And here are some examples of financial abuse. And I know that a lot of survivors have heard this one, and we didn't associate it with being financially abusive. Okay, so you're a kid, you exist. You exist, you eat. And what does your abuser do? Or your abuser and their enabler do? They blame you for the cost of having to feed you. Okay.
That was the big one for me.
Yeah. You should be grateful you have food. I pay a lot of money to feed you.
I was told that I should be grateful that I have a roof over my head.
Right. Exactly. And, you know, as children, it's not like we chose to come into this world. Whoa, bad grammar. We chose to come into this world. And we certainly have no choice on the fact that we need to eat. And so holding those things, those innate needs against us is so cruel. Is so cruel because there's nothing we can do about that.
It is soul destroying. That's what it is. It destroys people's souls when you do that.
Exactly, because you're telling there's something wrong with them just because they exist. And that right there, that message that there is something that's wrong with you, that's bad about you just because you exist, that concept is the key to killing our self-worth.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's about. It's about telling us that just because you exist, if you do nothing but sit there like a lump for the rest of your life, you will be worthless.
Yeah.
And that's a powerful message to tell a child over and over and over and over again. And we wonder why survivors don't have any self-esteem, don't have any self-worth. That's why. That's why, because they hear that message all the time.
In my senior high school yearbook, my senior year, the seniors are given an area of the yearbook called your senior credits. And where you say like, oh, it was the best when we got to go here and we did this and blah, blah, blah. And I'll miss you guys and blah, 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 blah. And like, thank you to my parents. You're the best for loving me and all the years of support and all this other stuff. And I addressed it to my mom and one of my stepdads. And I said, thanks for the roof. Because they always screamed at me like as often as possible, you should be grateful you have a roof over your head. So I put thanks for the roof. That was my big act of rebellion. Thanks for the roof. That was me being so rebellious. Ooh, edgy, Athena. Edgy.
Are you kidding? So, in that scenario, that was very edgy of you because they held your life in their hands.
Oh yes, they certainly did.
So yeah, that was very brave and that was very edgy. Okay, so this next one is refusing to provide money for needed items unless a person performs sexual behaviors or behaves in a way that meets the abuser's demands. Okay, we're talking about needed items, not an Xbox, not a video game, not that dress that you want to wear to prom. We're talking about food. We're talking about clothing. We're talking about hygiene items. Yeah, I'll give you that. But first you got to do this. Or, okay, I'll buy you some food tomorrow, as long as you don't eat any food today.
Yep.
And it's that manipulation and power control is all that it's about. It's about the abuser and their enabler exercising their power and punishing you because you have needs. And again, it teaches us that we're wrong to have needs. We're just wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. Nothing we can do is right.
Is it a wonder we apologize for our existence all the time? Right?
Yes, 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 yes. I can remember that the very first time I met the psychiatrist that I work with now. I've been working with her for almost 10 years now. And she said to me in one of the very first sessions that I met with her, she said, "Do you feel like you're entitled to breathe the air around you?" And I looked at her and I said, no, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. And that's how bare bones basic it gets, is we don't feel even sometimes entitled to breathe air that exists around us. And we feel bad that we need to breathe.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one, giving, okay, and that's in quotes because it's not really giving a person money that he or she needs, and then emotionally or verbally berating that person for both needing the money and having accepted it. Okay, so it's that initial, you need to buy a uniform for PE. Sure, here's the money. But then the next time they turn around, oh, well, you remember I gave you that money for PE? Here. Or, I can't believe you didn't deserve that money.
Or maybe you'll think twice next time before you ask me for that.
Yeah. It's never freely given. Never freely given. And then restricting a person's access to their own money and insisting that a person hand over their money to an abuser for their use. So either you don't get any access to the money, and or if you make money, you have to turn it over to that person, and then it's spent at their behest, but never at yours.
That's very familiar for me too.
Yeah. Your money in the special shoe that needed it.
Yeah.
That shoe made a lot of money.
I saved up $99 to buy a pair of speed skates so that when I got to go roller skating, I didn't have to wear the brown ones with the orange wheels. And the money got stolen, so I didn't get to buy. Like, I still wore the brown ones with the orange wheels, which of course, like, you're the big dork because everybody else has the black ones with the white lines on them that were like really cool.
Were they inline skates?
No, it was like regular roller skates, like back in the 80s and 90s. I'm dating myself.
That's okay. That's okay. Okay. And then this next one, and these last couple of ones tend to come into play a little bit more when you get into your teen and maybe even to your young adult ages. Okay. And this next one, abusing a person to the point that they're disabled from working. And that allows an abuser to keep them financially dependent. Okay? And that happens so often. And we had many people in chat this morning talking about this, how even into their young adulthood, because of either the extent of their abuse, they were disabled, or because they didn't get any financial literacy training, or all the power and money issues attached to shame. They weren't good managers of money. They were still dependent, financially dependent on their abuser. And that left them open to being under the control of their abuser. I can't tell you how many clients I've worked with who are young adults who are either out of their home and working, but they're not making enough. And so they're still financially dependent upon their abuser. And when we talk about being in recovery, and I talk about their relationship with their parents, they say to me, I can't be angry with my parents. because I need them. They give me money. I can't disrupt that relationship at all. So I don't want you to do anything that would help me, that would let me reach a point of being angry with them. I have to maintain my relationship with my parents. I've heard it over and over again, and I don't blame them. Sometimes, it takes a whole lot for us to get our lives in the order that we need it to be so that we are not financially dependent. I've been there. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I mean, me too. I've been there, Bobby, also. We have a member of our community that was a member of one of our groups, actually, and she's literally completely and totally financial dependent upon her family. Her family supports her abuser and believes her abuser, and has helped her abuser to not only rape their daughter, but lend her out and sell her to whoever he wants. And they somehow are fine with that because the abuser provides them with money. And so they're paying for her education. So she's still in school. She has no skills. She has no way of getting a job, no way of escaping. She has no way of not going home for the quote unquote holidays to the home of her parents, who the parents are financially supported by the abuser, and she is supported by her parents and the abuser. And so she's completely dependent upon all of this. And she's still being raped repeatedly and forced to get abortions. And it's all in the family. It's all just going on in the family, and there's nothing she can do. And it is so heartbreaking. And I've reached out to as many people as I possibly can to try to get her some help, and, gotten her in touch with the Samaritans, and, gotten her in touch with RAIN. I mean, you just do all you can do when you're kind of like in our position where we're virtual. But it's like my hands are tied. I'm here. I'm in the U.S. She's the one living through this own personal hell of hers that her parents created and that, her abusers created. And it's just heartbreaking, you guys. This is very real. This is present day 2015. This is going on right now. And it's so heartbreaking. So heartbreaking.
It is. And sometimes we grow up as survivors of childhood abuse, but we grow up and we marry a partner who's abusive, and these things continue. We have to give all of our money to our partner. Our partner controls the money. We have no access to the money. And again, it's just going from the frying pan into the fire. And it's all about control. It's all about keeping you silent. And it's all about creating shame and isolating you. Because if you don't have any money, then guess what? You can't go anywhere and talk to anybody else. You can't share with anybody what I'm doing to you. And so that's it. Stay home. I'll give you food if I want to. And, just slap a smile on your face and pretend you're doing fine, because if you don't, there's going to be hell to pay.
Yep. Those are the exact words that are used also.
Yeah. And here in this last, I'm making my little mouse go around this last paragraph here in case you can't, if you're listening on a podcast. Oftentimes survivors have very little financial literacy as they grew up. And then money can be a large source of shame for abuse survivors, and therefore they will avoid dealing with financial issues. Okay, that's one that, and I've been here. This one is,
Me too.
I'm only now, I said this in chat this morning, I'm going to be 50 years old in February, and I'm only now developing a really solid, healthy relationship with money. Because of just the huge amount of shame that was associated with it when I was a child. And it's normal for abuse survivors to need to educate themselves about healthy money management when you're an adult. And we talked this morning in chat about those of us who are parents, how important it's been for us to teach our children healthy money management skills. And then while we're doing that, we reparent ourselves and we learn things because we want for our children what we didn't have, which was choice and options, and to control their own finances rather than have it fall into the hands of someone else.
Yeah.
Okay. So to reduce our vulnerability to financial abuse, we want you to employ these tips and strategies. Now, to recover from the financial abuse of your childhood, these will help as well. But that is kind of a journey of your recovery. Once you reclaim your power, once you get rid of the shame and the self-blame, you will find a lot of those things taken care of. But specifically about the aspect of financial abuse, we want to give you these tips and strategies. And the first one is to become financially literate. Okay? Educate yourself, attend classes, watch videos, read books. Educate yourself about money management, budgeting, and investing if you have money to invest. There is a wealth of information out there that talks about anything from a very basic how to budget to a how to pick the best stock to invest in. And it's right at your fingertips on the internet. You can go to your library. I bet you'll find a whole wealth of books there. And you may very well even find some basic money management classes at your local community center or community college.
Yeah.
And this next one is kind of can be a sticky wicket for those of us who are in partner relationships, but this is so important. Always maintain control over your money. You always want to have access and control over your money. It's okay to share an account with your partner. Okay? Both times I've been married, the account has been in my name and my husband's name. At least the checking account. Other ones I got, that didn't work. But, and then it's okay to do that as long as you both have equal access to the money. Okay?
This was a big one for me because I was like, am I a financial abuser? Because my husband and I, we've been married for almost 5 years. And we have separate accounts. We don't really have a joint account yet. We want to get a joint account. We're like, we need to do that. We need to get a joint account. But we should do that. But he doesn't have access to any of the finances that I'm working, even though everything, he's the one that's helped me with funding this business of helping trauma survivors and all of that. He doesn't have access to any of it. I'm the only one with access. And so I'm like, am I abusing my husband? I'm not an abuser, but I'm like, he doesn't have access to this account. I need to make sure he does. I know that that's an odd angle to be coming from, but it just sort of hit me between the eyes when I read it and when I was formatting it.
I think that every time that we present information to survivors, and you and I look for information for survivors, our background is going to make us do that.
Yeah,
We're
sure.
so sensitive to not wanting to be abusive that we will always, I don't know that will ever go away for us. And I'm not sure it should. I always want to be on my guard against being abusive towards someone else.
Yeah, I don't ever want to be in that group.
Yeah.
Ever.
And we don't often talk about money boundaries, but we're going to talk about it right here. Establish good money boundaries. Okay? Don't lend money to people that you don't really, 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 really know. And don't accept money from people that you are not clear that it is out of the goodness of their heart and not a manipulative tactic. Okay?
Could you say that again? Because I really want you to reiterate it, the whole part. Could you say it again?
Yes. Don't lend money to unsafe people. And someone who is unsafe is someone that you don't know to be safe. So unless you can look at them and say you are 100% safe, you don't lend them money. You don't. And unless you can look at them and say you are 100% safe, you don't accept money from them. If they're 99% safe, no money. You don't give money to them, you don't take money from them, because money is power.
This is so interesting, Bobby, that you're talking about this right now. We have a lot of stuff going on, like just in our own community. And then even just for me personally, when I started to go to school to be a counselor, I had one of my family members, Bobby, want to pay for my schooling. And I even said, I know what happens when you try to quote unquote give something out of the goodness of your heart. I know the expectations that are attached to that. Yeah. I know that you will hold that over my head until the day you die. I will not accept. And it was like, what are you talking about? I would never do that. I just want to help. I just want to help your dreams come true. And it was like this, like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyway. But you guys, that little check that you get in your spirit, that little pit you get in your stomach, that feeling that something just isn't right or might not be right, trust that feeling. Trust that feeling. I'm talking to you, members of our community that are going through situations like this right now. Trust that gut feeling. Trust that gut feeling. Don't ever ignore that gut feeling. Okay.
You know, and I really want to acknowledge that for some people, we're talking about the difference. If I don't accept money from this unsafe person, I will be out on the streets. Okay, I've been there. I have been out on the streets. I have been homeless.
Yep.
And in an effort not to be homeless, I took money from unsafe people. I would not have done that had I not had a child. If it had just been me, I'd have packed my stuff up and I'd have gone to live in a shelter. But I wanted so badly not to be homeless with a child that I took money from unsafe people. And I paid for it. I did, financially, emotionally, the whole bit. But I just want to acknowledge that there are people out there who are probably listening to this or watching this video and they're thinking, yeah, that's right, but I have kids. Okay, so there are people who are in relationships with men who are financially abusing them, and you say, yeah, it's easy for you. If I don't stay, my children don't eat.
Yeah.
Okay, we get it.
Or even females that are financially abusive, because my financial abusers were mostly female.
Right. It is hard. It is very hard. I've been there. I've made poor decisions. If I were to go back in that scenario, now that I've been homeless and realized, I can do it, I have chosen to be homeless a lot sooner. But we've been there. So don't think that we're telling you it's easy and that we don't understand what is involved when you have children. It's not easy. No. Never. Be aware of impulsive spending or shopping behaviors that you may use to cope with stress or emotional distress. It's so common.
Yeah, it is.
That impulsive spending or shopping, compulsive shopping that we might use in order to soothe our fear, our worry.
I never even knew that was wrong because that's how I was raised. Like everything would go crazy and all the abuse would get really, 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 really bad. And then to make it all better, we would go, quote unquote, grab a bite to eat. So my need for food was being met because I didn't have the food that was healthy or anything at my house. And then we would invariably go shopping for something. And so to me, that meant love. But yeah. I mean, I will let you know that when one of my family members passed away, there was a closet full of unworn clothing that was impulsively bought to soothe something, obviously. I mean, literally a full walk-in closet filled with clothing with the tags still on it.
Yeah. Filled with soothing.
Yep.
Wow.
And that's how I was raised though. That was Cheerios. That was Fruity Pebbles. That was Special K. Like I didn't know that was wrong. That was what I was being fed. I never knew that was unhealthy. And
Yeah.
this is not all about me wanting to cannibalize my family on this broadcast, you guys. Like I'm just saying that intergenerational family dysfunction is so debilitating. It is so masking and blinding and deafening, and you just don't even know you're in it until you're so deep in it that you're trying to crawl your way out. And it's debilitating. And I'm telling you, it's possible. It's possible. I'm sitting here living proof, and Bobby is sitting there living proof right now without, compulsive spending and without, drug addiction and alcohol addiction and all of these other things we're talking about that are very, very, very unhealthy. You guys, we grew up in really bad situations and we're making healthier choices now. We don't have it figured out. We're making healthier choices now. It's possible.
It is. It's not easy and it's not quick, but you can do it. Tackle your money shame so you can have a healthy relationship with money. Money is meant to be a tool. It's not meant to be our all. It's not meant to be a source of shame. It's not meant to be a source of power. It is simply a tool to exchange for things that we need. That's it. And that's all it's meant to be. I have had times in my life when I have not been able to pay a bill on time. And my shame over that is just ferocious. And yet when I sit down and shake my head and clear my head of the unhealthy money stuff I learned as a child, I realize that while it's not appropriate that I can't pay my bills on time, it doesn't say anything about me. It doesn't mean I'm worthless. It doesn't mean I should be ashamed of myself. It just means that at that time, I cannot provide remuneration for the services that were given to me. I need to do what I can to fix that, but it doesn't mean I'm a bad person.
It's the same thing when you're shamed when you're little about bathing, or you're shamed in any way. You're shamed at the dinner table. Like when you grow up in an environment of shame, you guys, you grow up, guess what? You grow up to be an adult that is ashamed. Like, I mean, you're just ashamed of however you were ashamed when you were a child. It shows up in your adulthood. Like the exercises that they have you do, Bobby, when you do your continuing education units for to be a therapist or a counselor, where they have the whole exercise that you go through about embracing shame, and the like the story that they do about the guy driving around in circles not being able to find a parking spot. There's two people, and the one guy shows up and he's 20 minutes late and he apologizes and shames himself the whole time, and the other guy just shows up and he's like, whoa, crazy parking. And it's like, because he doesn't attach his self-worth to showing up to the meeting on time, or possibly losing his job because that would be money. It said it was all about money. It was all about money, you guys.
Yeah.
It was all about finances.
Yeah. And there's something else, is that oftentimes our value is attached to our job because it's attached to our money.
Yep.
Set a budget. Learn how to set a budget and then maintain your budget and try. Okay, here's a big word, try. Many of us don't have this opportunity, but try to set aside some savings for emergency situations. Why? Because then when emergency situations come up, your anxiety will not skyrocket around money issues. Okay, I have sat in my car, gone out to go someplace, sat in my car will not start. And I have to sit there and think, okay, what bill am I not going to pay? Or where can I get the extra money? Where can I beg, borrow, steal? Not steal, but, beg or borrow, or, swap one bill for another in order to have the money to pay to get my car looked at. Just looked at. Maybe towed to a garage, not even let alone it being repaired. And that just, if I had that money set aside for situations like that, it would be a lot easier to go, okay, this sucks, but I'm going to, I'm going to go in, I'm going to call AAA and have them tow it someplace, and I'll get it taken care of.
Yeah.
It's inconvenient, but
your whole world doesn't fall apart.
no, and it doesn't mean I'm a bad person or I should be ashamed. It just means my car doesn't work. And this next one, if you are uncomfortable making large purchases on your own, such as a car or a home, enlist a safe person to help you. Either they can go with you to look for the car or the home, or they can sit down with you and look at options and paperwork so that when you go out, you feel confident that you can make wise choices. Because those are big decisions, and that's chances are something that you're going to pay for quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
So if you don't,
that can create a lot of ambient anxiety as well, like some anxiety that you don't really know about. It's just sort of in the air, and you don't even realize it's there.
Yes.
There's like a finality sort of attached to it. If it's like a house or a car, like what if it's not the right car? What if I get myself in over my head? Oh my goodness, I've never been a homeowner before. Am I counting all the costs? What about taxes? What about insurance? What about private mortgage insurance? What about landscaping? What about the yard? What about like trash and water and this and that? And it was always included before when I rented. And I mean, just definitely enlist a safe person from your safe online community or your safe in real life community that can help you make those decisions so that you're not left to figure them all out on your own when you, perhaps if you're watching this channel, you weren't raised in an environment that an environment was not fostered for you to learn these skills at a young age so that you could be practicing them for decades already and not just learning them now.
Yeah. So, and asking for help or admitting that you need help is not a sign of weakness.
No.
It is a sign of strength to have the courage to ask for help when everyone around you expects you to already have mastered that task. Yeah. So it's okay. Ask for help from your safe people. If they're safe people, they're not going to shame you because of it. And so if they shame you because of it, they're not safe. Move them out of the circle.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Move them out a rung on your safety circle.
Yes,
hello.
exactly. That's right.
In your inner circle, like I'm thinking of Ben Stiller, whatever that movie was, Meet the Fockers. Yeah, the inner circle. Move them out a rung or whatever.
Yes, like a bullseye. Like a bullseye, right? Exactly.
Yeah. There are additional resources. Oh, are there some additional resources you would recommend? Some may have been mentioned in sex abuse chat. Additional resources that we could recommend for people that are looking to become a little bit more financially savvy.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head other than to make friends with Mr. Google.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Go ahead and look into that Storify if you want to, Jack, because I'm not sure which other resources. Go ahead and perhaps look into the sex abuse chat Storify from last week. We are going to go ahead and transition into giving you all our contact information, letting you know how you can get plugged into Safe Community, how you can best contact Bobby Parrish or myself, Athena Moberg. If you are familiar with this channel and you don't need our contact information, this will end the broadcast for you. We love you and we hope to see you next week where we have a 2-hour special on predators. And nothing says happy holidays like predators. I mean, right? So, and then on sex abuse chat next week, we're talking about coping with the holidays and how to set some goals. So we love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. And we will see you next time. Aloha. Otherwise, we're transitioning into how to get connected into Safe Community and how to contact us.
Yes. Okay. Ways to contact us. And,
it looks great, Bobby. It looks fantastic.
Okay.
You're so cute. You're like, oh, it's not big enough. No, it looks great.
Okay. And we do our best to reply within 48 hours. Give us a little bit of time longer than that, please. Sometimes we are working on getting systems in place, but it is just the two of us juggling all the plates and spinning all the basketballs on one finger. So you can reach out to us at bobbylparrish@gmail.com because Bobby Parrish already took my Gmail address. So Bobby L. Parrish And then Athena Moberg speaking at gmail.com. And then no more shame project at gmail.com. We would love for you to interact with us on Twitter. Follow us. We'll follow you back. And you can follow me at Bobby L. Parrish. Athena is Athena Moberg. And then Trauma Recovery University is Trauma Recovery U.
I'm not as good at following everybody back on Twitter. I try so hard, but sometimes I don't do very good with following you back. And if you would like me to follow you back, send me a tweet saying, hello, follow me back. And then I'll probably follow you back. So anyway, if you're following me and I'm not following you, I apologize.
If we would love to be your friend on Facebook, you can send us friend requests on our personal pages. For me, that's Bobby Parrish, facebook.com Bobby Parrish. And for Athena, that's Dawn Athena Moberg, because Athena Moberg took her Facebook page and she must now use her legal name, Dawn Athena Moberg. You can also like our Trauma Recovery University page. My business page is Bobby Parrish Coaching and Consulting, and Athena's business page is Athena Moberg Speaking. We have nothing short of a bajillion hours of videos on Trauma Recovery University's YouTube channel, and you are more than welcome to hop over there and just binge watch your way through the Christmas holidays. And we have the same videos up on Roku TV, Trauma Recovery University channel. And you can also access us and our videos on our Google Plus channel. You can always watch the most recent video and interact with us on Monday nights here on bit.ly/Trauma Recovery U, capital T, capital R, capital U. The capitals do matter. So let's swap on over to ways to connect. No, I don't want you. Go away.
We had some new people here tonight. I just wanted to say hello to our new Sarah. We have a lot of Sarahs, but I want to say hello to our new Sarah that joined us tonight for the very first time.
Hi, Sarah. Okay, let's see here. All right. We have 3 Twitter chats a week. The first one is Monday at, let me try and make this a little bigger for you. I'll have to scroll down, but let me see. Let's see if you can see this better. Mondays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time in the UK. The hashtag is CSAQT, which stands for Child Sexual Abuse Question Time. Our second Twitter chat of the week is this one that you're at right now. That's at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 Eastern, 2 o'clock in the morning in the UK. And then Tuesdays, we have the third and final Twitter chat of the week. The hashtag is Sex Abuse Chat. It starts at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and it would be at 2 a.m. in the UK. And then Facebook. If you would like to join one of our private secret Facebook support groups, that was a tongue twister, 4-step process. So easy. We really do respectfully beg that you use this 4-step process because it makes things so easy for us. If you send a request to join the Facebook groups to our email or one of our business pages in a message, it can get lost so easily. And I never look at my direct messages on Twitter, so please don't send anything there. All you have to do is like the Trauma Recovery University page, send us friend requests, send one to both Athena and myself, because sometimes one of us can get to you more quickly than the other. And then after we have accepted your friend request, send us a message that says, I'd like to heal in safe community, and we will respond to you. If we don't know you at all, we might ask you a few questions about yourself. Please don't be offended by that. It is simply our way of weeding out predators, people who might be disguising themselves as victims so that they can gain access to our support groups, and the people in our support groups are very, very, very important to us. And their safety is our 100% priority. So if we ask you some questions.
The safety of our group collectively is our number one priority. So we do care about each one of you individually, but like Bobby just said, the safety of the group collectively is our priority, and we have to make sure we have to make sure that each one of you are safe.
Yes, no, it's good. So just follow that 4-step process. And then once we ascertain that you're safe, we'll go ahead and get you plugged into one of the support groups. And again, if you are a male survivor and you would like to be part of an all-male support group, either send us follow that process and friend us on Twitter, or you can send us an email message, because we don't have the group set up yet. And we can then keep your name on hand, and when the support group goes live, we'll contact you.
Yeah. So. It'll be really neat to be able to have the male only group. I know that the 1 in 6 organization, I know they have all male groups already set up in place, but we didn't have enough men that were a part of our community that were interested in having a private secret Facebook group. We have men that are not on Facebook, but we're not interested in doing outside of Facebook support groups right now. I'm getting a couple of requests for doing other support groups on other social media platforms, and quite honestly, the infrastructure on Facebook is a lot more intuitive and user-friendly than it is on other platforms, and we're only a few people, a very small team, and we're not set up to do other platforms at this time. So we will someday, and when we do, it won't be on another social media platform. It will be on one that we host, and it will be on a forum that we host ourselves on my server.
Right, that we can guarantee safety. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm not going to be doing. I got, again, like I think I have a private. I think I got a private message from Simi regarding a Google group, which I'm not doing Google groups right now. I mean, we're not saying you guys can't support each other. Go ahead and but you're not. It's not Trauma Recovery University. It's not No More. I mean, it's not ours. Like, we're not running it. It's not Bobby's in my group. So, just letting you all know about that ahead of time. So. Anything else, Bobby?
I can't think of anything other than another reminder that next week we are starting an hour earlier. So we will be starting at 5 Pacific time. I do the translations in my head. 8 Eastern time and 1 in the morning in the UK to do our 2-hour special on predators. And just a final few words that, yes, the holidays are right around the corner, that they are hard for a lot of people for many reasons. And so we understand if you are not feeling very jolly, and if family interactions are very triggering for you this holiday, know that you're not alone, that you're understood. We will try to monitor the No More Shame hashtag on Twitter. And if you're in our support groups, we will be there. We will be present, providing support to our family members, because you who are in our support groups are definitely part of our family. So if you want to get plugged into one of those groups for the holiday, please don't hesitate to send us the friend request. And then once we've accepted it, to send us the message and we'll get you plugged in.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Bobby, I just had a thought while you were talking just then.
Okay.
How about I make you a pinnable image that advertises our 2-hour Predator special with the time just for 1 week only?
Yeah, that'd be great.
If I get that over to you, do you think you could get that like shared with all the people that need to get shared with?
Yes.
Is that cool?
I will. Yes.
I'll send that to you then. I'll get that to you tonight for sure.
Okay. It's a deal.
Wonderful. Well, we are so grateful for you guys, and you guys are the reason we show up every single week. I know we always say that, but we really mean it. And this is a difficult time of year for a lot of people. And, here we are, we seem happy, shiny, awesome. And, we are authentic with you. We are happy, shiny, awesome. But like deep down, like I'm just being real. This is a hard time of year. Like it's hard. I lost my father this year. He died. And with that is like the whole family dynamic completely changes. And I've just chosen to not really deal with the rest of the family with all of the dysfunction and painful stuff. And there, stuff going on with my other side of the family, and my son and my daughter-in-law, they're in California. They're gone. Like it's my husband and I, and I'm grateful to have my husband. But you guys, this is a difficult time of year for a lot of people. And Bobby and I are not excluded from that. Like we're just being real with you that it's hard. And we're not dumping on you like that, like, here, pick up the pieces of all of our mess. Like that's not what we're doing. But we just want you to know, like, we're here. Like we're here.
You're not alone.
Yeah.
You are not alone. And we understand it. And we get it.
Yeah, we get it. And we see you, and you matter. And we're grateful that we have you, because it makes our holiday much better.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. It does.
Yeah. So we'll see you next week for a 2-hour Predator special, because nothing says happy holidays like Predators.
That's right.
And we just want to equip you, and so that you all know what to look for, especially if you're just getting started in your recovery journey. There will likely be a lot of light bulb moments. I already have a stack of books that I'm referring to in all of my research for Predators. And Bobby and I, we're passionate about making sure that you guys don't get re-victimized. And that's what educating you on Predators is about. So please tune in an hour earlier next week. Tell all your friends. And if you see our meme pop up, it'll look like a movie theater sign with like garland and glitter and all kinds of fun stuff. Like garland and Christmas tree stuff on the top, and then glitter on the bottom. That's what it'll look like. I'm going to send it to Bobby tonight, and she'll get it out there.
Meme?
For the Predators meme. That's what it'll look like. So if you see it, guys, retweet it and share it. Like this video if it's helped you at all. Share it with some of your friends. And subscribe to our channel. Every time I say subscribe to our channel, like the video, share it with people, I went back and studied all of the analytics, and it's amazing that that's exactly what people do. They just need us to ask. So we're asking you, please like our channel, or subscribe to our channel, like the video, and share it with someone. And we're so grateful for each of you. I'm Athena Moberg, and this is Bobby Parrish, and we love bringing you everything you need for healthy, informed trauma recovery. Aloha.